It is just proven eating meat is healthier than fucking vegans. I'm just trying to prove a point. Eating dead flesh in chicken periods, that's what we're supposed to do. And shit. Yeah, that was a live show fail. So let's roll the alternate intro and shit. Fucking, I prepped. And then I click it, and it didn't fucking work. All right, here we go. Yeah, this is going well. Going well and shit. All right, so I'm here today on my live podcast to, well, first, for those of you that are new here that don't know what the fuck I do, and I don't know if there is any new people watching this, but I do a podcast every Friday. 3 of them you can download from scottthetruckdriver.com for $5 a piece. But around the first week of every month, I try and do one for free right here on YouTube, and that's why we are here today. And the reason I wanted to rant about this today is I'm just inundated. But real quick, just to let you know where you can go to check out my podcast, you can head to, hold on, there we go. Yep, scottthetruckdriver.com, and of course all the podcasts are in the shop section, and you can, I've got like a lot of fucking podcasts now for you to choose from. Chances are you'll find something that you're interested in if you like the shit that I do. But enough about my shameless fucking plugs. Let's get down to it. Now, I've noticed a disturbing trend on YouTube by other carnivores, especially in the nutrition world, just constantly pounding on veganism. There's a few people I follow who it's starting to wane on me a bit, and I feel like we're ignoring the elephant in the room to attack a few people. And I just want to say hi to everyone that showed up in the chat room. I'm a little scattered because everything just fucked up on me. But I want to say hi to, where the hell's my chat? All right. To Jason West Derrickson. He's the person that's responsible for the cover of my intro music that you hear in almost every fucking video. Spive21, Sherry, Duncan, Big Red Rex, Deborah, Keto Sajid, I can't pronounce your name, Michelle Bipolar Mead, Sherry Clem, Cat in Canada. So hello to all. Somebody was nice enough to pimp out my website in the chat room. Thank you very much. And so thank you. Welcome to the live chat. So just so you know, when I'm doing my little spiel, it's hard for me to keep up with chat. I do glance at it every now and then. So please save your direct questions to me till I open it up for the direct Q&A towards the end. I just want to get through the things I want to talk about. I have some slides, some things to show you. I want to talk about this Spheric getting arrested shit. And I generally want to draw your attention towards the real problem that I don't feel that people are pissed off enough about. And so let's just jump into it and shit. So let's see here. Let me put that there. So, you know, the first thing that popped up, every day I have this routine. I get up, I brew a shit ton of coffee, I pour a shit ton of fat in my coffee, and I sit down to watch, essentially, kind of see what's new for the day from the people I subscribe to. Then I go through a little bit of nutrition stuff to see if anything new's popping up there. And, I kind of just to keep my finger on the pulse of nutrition and health in general, and also some of the people I just follow for fun. I watch some of that shit too. And then I have a couple of news people that I watch that are on YouTube, and generally it just gives me a good idea of what's going on in the world. Both in the things that I research and the general consensus of society on how things are going. But lately, I'm getting all these ex-vegan fucking videos, and I know it's the algorithm just saying, hey, well, you clicked this video, so here's 20 billion of that same fucking topic. But it's alarming because some of the, like, for example, Sean Baker, he's not always guilty of this. He does do some non-vegan bashing videos, but he does tend to give vegans an honorable mention in almost every video. And I understand the reason for this, that there are evangelical hardcore vegans that come into a channel and just attack, personal attacks, talk shit, give you fucking just total crap for your consumption of the diet because it goes against their views, and they're outraged about it. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with people's right to be upset or find your diet offensive. I find things about their diet offensive. But that doesn't, it doesn't mean I want to spend all my fucking time making videos bashing vegans. And I definitely don't want to spend all my time watching videos bashing vegans. Just so you know where I stand on it, I do believe veganism does not provide everything you need long term. However, I do believe it takes a good 10 to 20 years, and depending on the type of veganism you follow, how quickly or how slowly or how long you last, before you hit that health wall. I agree with that sentiment. But there is a much bigger problem in the room, and I don't think it's being addressed by the carnivores at all. The carnivores are just obsessed, it seems, with beating on vegans, with telling them their shit's fucked up, and telling them that they're killing people, and telling them that they're all that. So I wanted to kind of go through today and shine a light on what the hell we should really be outraged about, and that we're not really doing anything about, as far as I know. And this is also from my personal observations in my personal life. And, so I'm just going to, basically, I'm not even going to play this clip from Sean Baker, because it's basically he's talking shit about McDougal. And yeah, that's been done. I've talked shit about McDougal occasionally. Well, I generalize it, but I'm more of a talk shitter on the Dr. Greger side of the house. And, but I feel like that people, because obviously talking and triggering and outrage clickbait is a way to market yourself on YouTube, but it's not a way to help people. It's not a way to get people to eat a different way of eating. It's, for example, well, Duncan just wrote, Freely the Banana Girl got me so mad, animal life, and she herself got an abortion. And that's been what Freely's been doing forever. And I can tell you that probably not even vegans take her seriously at this point. Most normal, average motherfuckers, yeah, they feel passionate for the animals, but they're still eating processed foods. They're still doing a lot of things that are questionable on that ideology, and just not acknowledging that they're doing it. But at the same time, they're not beating everyone around them over the head about it either. They're choosing on their own to practice this because they don't want to personally contribute. They're not begrudging someone else's right to not be a vegan. I have vegan friends that don't browbeat me about not being vegan, and I don't browbeat them about being vegan, even though I'm passionate on nutrition and I know certain things about how the vegan diet affects the body over the long term. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and criticize their choice any more than I criticize people for, other than the ones that fuck with me about it. for their standard American diet choice. You see, let's just continue. We're going to continue forward because I just want to show you some of the shit that I'm seeing. Like if we look at Frank Tufano here, you know, and he could turn it into a nice, you know, coaching channel, but almost everything I see is trying to fucking vegan clickbait on his channel. You know, he does do some good information on the raw carnivore stuff and some of the diets he does, and does some recipe stuff, but it seems like every other video is, you know, vegans are confused, why fruit is this, and Tishna no longer vegan, and ex-vegans. And, you know, it goes without saying that Spheric also doing the same shit, only almost exclusively is what Spheric is doing. And, you know, I would love to hear more from what Spheric is eating, how it affects him. Maybe there's something raw that we're not supposed to have. He claims he just eats raw meat all the time. I couldn't tell you what the fuck his diet is. He clearly seems physically healthy. I would kind of question his mental health a little bit, but that's just my personal opinion based on the videos. I don't know him. I haven't met him. You know, for all I know, he's not the same person he is on camera. You know, that's how it is. But here's the biggest thing that happened, you know, recently. And if you're in any carnivore research world, you're aware of this. So you got him in London protesting. Like he's being an activist. He's essentially doing what, you know, vegans have been doing. Vegans will go outside of like Burger King and fucking pour blood all over their face and show you animal slaughter videos and all of that. And honestly, I don't have a problem with their right to do that. And I also don't have a problem with Spherich's right to do the same thing essentially. But and I will say, having watched this video today, because I literally watched most of it, I skipped some parts. You know, there was one guy in there that was a little wacky for me. But, you know, I am disturbed, not by the fact that he was eating a squirrel at a vegan festival. He's done that shit over and over again. It's very clickbaity. It triggers vegans, and in my opinion, doesn't help anybody change their diet, their nutrition. It really is just throwing, you know, veganism, you know, giving them some of their own medicine. But overall, most vegans are reasonable people, so you're really only punishing the reasonable vegans for the actions of some of the more extremist vegans. And in my opinion, Spheric has become an extremist carnivore, which is just the polar opposite of an extremist vegan. But what while I don't agree with his methodology, I don't agree that he should have been arrested for it. He had a right to be there, you know, and I wonder if it, like he says in the video, if it would have gone a different way if he was at like a fucking barbecue rib festival pouring blood all over himself and showing, you know, all the animal abuse in the factory farm industry. Would it have gone differently? Would he have got arrested? Would the police have even fucked with him? And watching that video and the things the cops were saying and doing all of that, it's really fucking scary. I mean, he's essentially got arrested for eating raw meat. You know, there's a question of ordinances about killing squirrels and all of that, but they didn't even pursue that line. It was all about he got arrested for being offensive. And is that really where we're headed? I mean, the UK is already there. Are we here? Are we there in the United States too? Are we going to start getting arrested for being offensive? Is that how far things are going? It's fucking ridiculous, really. I mean, we had the freedom to express our opinions, and as far as I know, the UK had the same freedoms, and it was just disturbing. So first I want to criticize Spheric, and then I'm going to defend Spheric a little bit. But the main criticism is they're protesting the vegan diet, you know, killing people, while surrounded by non-vegan, like, processed foods all over the place. It's everywhere. And here's a news flash. There's a hell of a lot less vegans dying than the standard American dieters that are dying. All right? Proportionally speaking, you're saving a much smaller group of people when you could honestly benefit vegans by at least getting them away from standard American diet vegan foods. And where that's what's going on, I see this push when carnivore could benefit so many people. Like, there's literally somebody could be thinking about carnivore, go look, and they'll see all of these fucking vegan bashing videos, and they'll be like, well, I'm not vegan, so this doesn't apply to me, and they'll fucking click the next thing. It's kind of, we need to stop that shit. Can we stop just debating which one of us is right on our diet? People are going to try different shit. They'll try veganism, and a lot of people do, and they figure out it's not for them. A lot of people try carnivore and figure out it's not for them. And to sit here and just have us on YouTube basically becoming, instead of nutrition channels, we're becoming drama channels. And there's plenty of those on YouTube, and I don't hardly watch them. Every once in a while one pops up, oh, there's some YouTube drama, let's see some reality TV shit today. But I don't necessarily want to go to a video where I'm trying to learn how someone's doing on a certain way of eating. I don't think these carnivores are really doing that enough. They're not really sharing their own health, their own experiences. They're busy talking shit about people that are having bad experiences on other diets in a way to kind of, I don't know, justify their own diets. So that's my criticism. So let's just play a little bit of this clip while we're at it. Where they're talking shit about...
Because I like dogs, okay, I get but it, if I was in an Asian country and it was normal and it was so, I'd try it.
I don't believe I'm malnourished. If anything, I sit next to them.
I do find it interesting he's saying he's not malnourished and he's vegan, and if I had to guess, he's probably a processed food vegan, which is just as unhealthy as the standard American diet. Is going to run into the same health problems as the standard American diet. Now, vegans won't necessarily buy into that. They want to blame everything on red meat, or on meat in general. But let's face it, if you're a processed food vegan, you're going to have the same chronic disease issues. You're going to have the same autoimmune problems. You're going to have the same mental health problems as anyone else on a standard American diet. One thing is provable is if you take yourself out of the standard American diet and eat a whole foods diet, your health is going to improve dramatically. You don't
care about the life of the animals, how they feel. That's nonsense. Veganism was invented by city folk that are removed from nature. If you were Native American...
And I'm also in agreement with that sentiment, although I think this guy is a little wacky here. Nature, that's the closer you get to nature, the healthier you get. And the vegans don't necessarily have it right, and the carnivores aren't 100% on it either. In nature, if you've ever spent some time out in the woods trying to survive, you're going to eat whatever the fuck you can. If there's a plant and you're not going to die if you eat it, you're going to fucking eat it. If there's an animal, you're definitely fucking hunting that motherfucker because you get more caloric density out of the animals. So animals were a proportionally higher amount of a hunter-gatherer's diet in nature. This is just common sense stuff, though. There's nobody running around in nature trying to survive going, well, I can't eat that fucking tuber that I just pulled out of the ground because I'm a carnivore and I'm against that and I think that... No. If you're starving and you're not eating for 3 days and your fucking animal traps didn't work and the fish aren't fucking biting and you can't fucking catch a big piece of game to fucking feed yourself for the next week and you pull a tuber out of the ground, you're going to fucking eat that fucking thing. I don't care who you are. You're more thinking about not starving to death at that point. And that's what nature is. We've bastardized it with our processed food environment. We've destroyed our food environment and we're destroying the health of millions upon millions of people. And that's kind of the irony here is they're sitting here protesting and let's just play it through.
You would understand the cycles of...
First of all, they're standing in front of a bar there.
And humans have evolved to eat meat. But you're harming yourself.
Right. And right here, they're surrounded by fucking liquor. There's like liquor all over the place. What do you think kills more people? Veganism or alcohol? I mean, it's a simple statistic. You can fucking look it up. Well, you know, if you're so passionate about saving lives, wouldn't you want to reach the most people? And honestly, you could reach both vegans and standard American dieters just by coming out against the standard American diet processed food bullshit. But we're ignoring that. We're not outraged about that. We're all having a pissing contest. My diet's better than your diet. I'm going to fucking live longer than you. While we watch everyone around us fucking die from processed foods, addictions, substances, and crap that's just bringing everyone's health down to a crawl, killing them slowly, taking away their quality of life, taking away all their money. Yet we're going to argue whether or not it's okay to eat a fucking squirrel in front of them. So that's where I criticize Spheric on this. You know, it's kind of how it is. Let's go forward here. So then the cops come. This is the part where I would defend Spheric on. He was just walking around like a typical asshole with dead squirrel gnawed on it right in front of the cop. And the cop has a vegan bias, which was established in the video. He said his wife's vegan. Which probably means he's vegan, or at least tries to be supportive. And he's clearly one-sided. And next to Spheric right here, you have like a photojournalist, I guess he was calling himself, who's vegan, defending Spheric. So apparently nothing unifies a carnivore and a vegan quite like being arrested for being offensive. Because I would be scared because vegans do offensive shit to protest too. They offend people with the images they show. You can go watch Freely's channel. You'll see all kinds of dead chicken periods all over the place. That's offensive. No one's giving a shit. No one's trying to take that down. No, I don't see anybody showing up to arrest Freely. But yet we're going to arrest Spheric. And I understand this plays into the culture war that's going on and a whole bunch of the crap that's going on with censorship and people being suppressed. Then it seems to be getting really bad in the UK based on what I've been seeing over here. I don't know. I don't live there. I can't make that a first-hand account. But this was some pretty disturbing shit. Watching the cops interact. Valid arguments being presented mostly by the vegan here, who is just as offended if you eat a burger than if you're walking around with a dead squirrel, but at the same time saying that it's okay, you know, because we have freedom of speech and freedom to protest. And he was only just standing there eating the fucking squirrel. It's gross as fuck. Somebody walked by, got pissed off, offended, or maybe had kids. Kids apparently can't see dead animals, and called the cops, and then they're just all over him nonstop, you know, and I don't agree with that at all. He has just as much right to stand there and eat his fucking squirrel. Gross and as distasteful as I find it as behavior, I do not think he was right in getting arrested for it. And that is the part I would support him on. I don't agree with his methodology. I don't think he's really bringing people to the carnivore table with his videos he's doing. He might be just reinforcing some of the ex-vegans that have come over that he's interviewed, and just reinforcing their decision, and that's, you know, going on. But whenever I watch one of his videos, I don't really get a lot of new information. It's always the same formula. The vegans left the diet because they had this problem, that problem, this problem, that problem. Some of the health problems might not even be 100% attributable to a vegan diet. It might be more of a processed food situation or so on and so forth. But we don't really discern between those. And that's, you know, where I would disagree. So let's just listen to this clip a little bit.
Okay, so would you take my details down so I can give you as a witness statement that I'm an innocent bystander. I'm literally out doing some street photography. I've bumped into these guys, and as a vegan, I'm not offended by this because he has a right to protest like the UK.
And I like this vegan, by the way. Vegans that are reasonable, I'm very happy with. It's their choice. They're rational about it. They're doing it for their own morals and not trying to convert everyone around them to a vegan diet. And the fact that he stepped up, this was probably the brilliant moment of this whole thing, is you have a vegan and a carnivore side by side, united against being censored, against being arrested for being offensive. And the cop said it multiple times. I'd recommend watching it because it's fucking, you know, if you can get past the dead squirrel part, the second half of the video where the cops show up, that is fucking, I was glued to it. I was like, oh my God, they're really going to fucking arrest him. Well, I knew already he was getting arrested, but just watching it unfold and the way the cops were talking to him about it, I found that disturbing. That's freedom of speech. That's fascism happening right there in front of everybody. And we're over here focused on the dead squirrel thing, and the first snippets of video were that, because you see everyone around there was holding phones and cameras and shit and filming him. But, you know, the first videos we saw, we just saw the highlights, you know, the cops putting the cuffs on him or him walking around a little bit with the dead squirrel. You don't really get the context that you get by watching the whole interaction play out. And it's an hour long, you know. But I skipped through a lot of the beginning stuff where because I've seen him do that before, and I don't need to rewatch the same fucking arguments over and over again. He hasn't really changed his game. He's getting better about moving away from shit after a little bit. You know, he grabs their attention, then he kind of moves away when things are starting to get a little bit too much, and that's a good idea because you don't want to escalate the outrage crowd because then people are unpredictable. You don't know what the hell's going to happen when you do stuff like that. And arguably the cops could control it better, but they should just be standing there observing. And if no shit goes down, if it's just people talking, which is essentially what happens, vegans come up, they debate them, they go back and forth, they say their piece, and generally it goes down without any serious incident. You know, or, you know, if there's an event, they try and remove him to the out perimeter event. They ask him to go move there, and he does. He doesn't resist that. But when they were on him for this, they're essentially harassing him for eating a squirrel, you know. So I don't know that that's a violation any more than going down to Wegmans, grabbing a big piece of raw meat, and then walking down the street eating it. You know, it's uncommon. You don't see it every day. Some people will be offended by it, but it's not, it doesn't mean that that's, you know, it doesn't mean that they don't have the right to do that. They should not be arrested for it. So that's fucking wrong, I think, that he got arrested for it. But let's play a little bit more of that clip.
Law, he has a right
this guy on record is not offended by us. That's good.
It was very peaceful. He's just standing there.
That's also the thing. I literally just say it. Right?
The thing is,
I'm the most peaceful guy here, probably.
My wife is a vegan, and I've got great sympathy for it, but I don't think that this helps the case because it's quite offensive.
So how would you suggest?
If I was
It's offensive. It's offensive crime. I'm offended by shit every day. So that's where I stand on this. And, you know, you find, like, if you really want to watch shit about bashing vegans all fucking day, all you gotta do is type in vegan bad, and you'll see, not only will you see the veganism bashing going on, but you'll also see the counter movements, like a lot of it's a feeding cycle, a feeding frenzy of clickbait between both sides. And, you know, anytime you make a clickbaity anti-vegan video, you're going to get clicks. There's, you know, and you're going to get hate. You know, the like ratio is probably, you know, 1 out of every 4 will dislike your video or something like that watches it. But that's out of a group of people that are looking for this shit. You know, it's not like random motherfuckers were surveyed. When you do a video attacking veganism, you're going to attract the extremist vegans to your channel just to bash you. And some of them won't even watch your video. They'll start talking shit. They'll maybe watch the first minute of it, and they'll stop, and they'll just talk shit. And you can see that they didn't watch the whole video sometimes. That's not what we need to do. You want to know what the real problem is, why things are fucked up? Look around you. The standard American fucking diet. We're not outraged about that at all. I don't see any protests going on in front of any of the grocery stores that have 80% of their foods are unhealthy, that are killing people. Entire store aisles. What about all the convenience stores around? There's nobody protesting outside of those, going, hey, everything you sell in there is killing people. There's no outrage for that, is there? So why are we focused on vegans? Vegans don't even stick it out. If we look here, I'm going to blow this up here. 84% of vegetarians and vegans return to meat. You know, it doesn't take much to figure out that people don't sustain veganism, and there's a very small minority of vegans. And if you look at this graph here, never vegan is way up here. Ex-vegan, 10%. And currently vegan is less than, 6%. So that 86% is taking away the ex-vegans and the current vegans. Why are we worried about this little group while literally fucking millions of people are sick? Millions of people sick, dying, all around us. Look around. You don't have to look far to watch it. Just see who's on medication, see who's in and out of the hospital all the time, see who's depressed, see who's filled with anxiety, see who's got autoimmune problems, see who has autism. There's just so many things that are wrong with the standard American diet. And we're eating 60% of our diet from fucking... Sorry, I didn't put that up there. We're eating 60% of our diet as ultra-processed foods here in the United States, according to the statistics. And chronic disease, according to the CDC, 6 in 10 adults in the U.S. have a chronic disease. Chronic disease is based on nutrition. If you have your nutrition healthy, you will not be one of the 6 in 10. 4 in 10 have multiple chronic diseases. More likely to get fucking killed by their diet. Why aren't we protesting this? I don't get it. Why aren't we all up in arms? You know why? Because it's fucking addictive as shit. That food is addictive. And just try having a conversation with somebody who's completely into their food. It doesn't take much to identify them. They tell you, I'm never fucking changing. I couldn't imagine my life without bread, without all of this. And I do understand the concern of some carnivores that we are pushing through government. There is a veganism push, and I don't agree with that either, any more than I think that we need to push a carnivore approach through government guidelines. Honestly, at this point, the government's fucked us up enough. I don't think we need to let them do anything with the food other than make sure that we're not being acutely poisoned or even long-term poisoned. And they're not even fucking doing a good job of that. Just look at fucking Glyphosate and Monsanto bullshit. So, we're not outraged about the right shit, is my point. And we need to start getting outraged. That's where I stand on this. So I plead with my fellow YouTubers who probably aren't going to see this video or click on it. But by all of you, I know, make the rounds on all of us YouTubers and just spread the word that maybe we need to reach people that are stuck on the standard American diet. And I do everything I can in my personal life for those I care about to be healthier. And I've only really gotten my mother to commit to it, and apparently one of her friends is also committed to it. And the only reason they're committing to it is because they've already hit that health wall. They're already in the healthcare system. I'd like to reach people, and make them more aware before they hit that health wall to at least make an informed decision. By no means do I believe we need to legislate a plant-based diet or legislate a carnivore-based diet or any of that. I want the government that fucks up everything it touches in regards to nutrition. I would just prefer they take a minimalistic approach and just make sure that we're not getting the bad chemicals in our life. And they haven't been doing that. That's part of that statistics, that 6 in 10 adults. So overall, we need to stop with the bullshit back and forth. There's not enough vegans that it's an issue in terms of carnivore. What we need to do in keto, we need to reach people that are still lost in the standard American diet, that are still drinking their faces off all the time, that are unhealthy as hell, have fatty liver disease, have high blood pressure, have autoimmune problems, have depression, anxiety. These are the things we need to focus on more so than veganism versus standard American diet versus keto versus carnivore. we could unite on this. Veganism could agree on some of this. There are vegans out there that do agree that processed foods need to go. So there's some common ground to be had here, that could perhaps shift it from this triggered mode to caring more about human health. And that's ultimately where we need to kind of move this towards, is figuring out the shit that we're eating, the shit that we're doing, how it's affecting us, how it's destroying us, and raising awareness of how to fix it. Things that people can try that are not based on bashing something else, but are based on getting results through nutrition. You know, I did this and it did this for me. Or I did this and it caused me to have this problem. These are the kinds of things that will help people make decisions about the foods they want to eat. Ultimately, the decision is up to them and how they weigh the evidence and how they decide to move forward with their health. And some people are just so hopelessly addicted that they're not even aware of some of this. And just by spreading the news that, hey, oh, you feel like shit all the time, oh, you have migraine headaches all the time, well, guess what? I went on keto and I have maybe one headache, and that was all alcohol induced, you know, prior to me giving up alcohol. You know, I think I've only had one non-alcohol induced headaches in 4 years of being keto. Yeah, I'm surrounded by people like, I got a fucking headache. I got my headache. I hear headache all day. And I'm like, well, that's good. I haven't taken an over-the-counter prescription drug in years. You know, I got a cold this last weekend. I was down a day for the rhinovirus. It was clearly the rhinovirus. It only lasted a day. You know, there's people that get sick and then they go buy tons of over-the-counter medication, and I'm not telling you what to do here. I'm not a fucking doctor. It's my personal choice that I choose to not take the prescription drugs unless it's absolutely 100% necessary, because I know each drug has a detrimental effect that comes along with any benefit you get, and I choose to try and stick it out till I absolutely have to. That's not what I recommend for everyone to do. That's just my personal choice, and I'm not even saying it's a right one. It's my weird fucking way of doing it. You know, it's that you just present stuff like that you've done this and this went away. My allergies went away. My depression on carnivore is gone away. My anxiety went away with keto. My headaches went away with keto. My allergies did lessen a lot with keto, but I still had occasional problems. And now carnivore's pretty much allergy free. You know, it's stuff like that. Share the benefits and what you did that made the difference for that particular benefit. And like I said before, carnivore is a good baseline diet to just build upon. Now, vegan obviously isn't going to do that, but there could be an optimal supplemented vegan diet with which to build upon, and it's all a trade-off of what quality of life you're willing to put up with to maintain the way of eating you prefer. But one thing is universally clear, that in the past 50-year experiment, where we've taken more and more animals and fats out of the diet and put more and more grain and carbs into the diet and sugar, it's clear how it turned out. This isn't epidemiology. This is life. Long-term study, unofficial long-term study, shows that our diet, the standard American diet, is killing us. And pretty soon the problem will be so fucking overwhelming that there'll be no turning back. There'll be nothing we can do about it. And we're not even trying to right the ship. We're too busy fighting amongst ourselves on who's vegan and who isn't. So that's my spiel for today. So now we're going to spend the rest of this podcast going through the Q&A, because that's really kind of why you all are here. I'm going to scroll through some stuff and see what comments jump out at me. If you would like to get my attention, I do believe there's a way that you can type at Scott the Truck Driver or something like that, and it highlights it for me. So we're just gonna go through some stuff here. I'm gonna scroll back to try and catch up in case I miss anything. OMAD Outlaw. I am with my wife at a fish place because it is Lent and that's what people do around here, even if they're not Catholic. Okay, that's just a religious thing about eating. I don't know. You might have been having a discussion and that jumped out at me for some reason. At Michelle Bipolar Mead, where in Wales are you? I'm in, okay, blah, blah, blah. What's up, Scott from Michigan? That's Don Grant, one of your patrons from last year. Thank you, OMAD, for helping the channel out as much as you did last year. Let's see, Shit Disturber, and I don't need to see that. Freely the Banana Girl got me so mad, Animal Life, and she got herself an abortion. I read that earlier, and I kind of wanted to comment on it. Duncan, I can't pronounce your last name. Duncan S. Freely has been doing this shit for years, you know, and largely I don't think anybody really takes her seriously. You know, she might have fans or whatnot, but I don't think anyone's really taking Freely seriously. At no point in my 4 years of research did I ever take Freely the Banana Girl seriously. And when you say that out loud, you know, she was eating, what, 36 bananas a day early on? And then you see the progression of her health just unfold on YouTube, then you know what's going on. And she's even more outraged than ever, especially with all this vegan bashing going on and these ex-vegans coming out. And to be fair, I'm talking about carnivores that are really pouncing on this. I have nothing against a person that tried veganism and it became unhealthy sharing their story. That's not what I'm speaking out against. I'm speaking out against trying to pimp out your way of eating through clickbait titles, attacking another way of eating like that, all while really ignoring the epidemic that we're surrounded by. I mean, I watch so many people I give a shit about just hurting themselves with their diet and with, you know, stuff that they do. It's frustrating because since I've gotten my own health, which I wouldn't label 100% perfect, I still troubleshoot here and there. There's still some things I'd like to work on, and I'm doing that. I'm in the gym, you know, trying to build strength and do all of that. We'll go over that a little later. I'm sure there'll be questions, but you know, it's a journey, and I just share my journey, and I think that can help people right their ship when they're ready to. There's nothing I'm going to say that's going to convince somebody that's not ready. If they're not ready to take charge of their life, to take charge of their nutrition, and to take charge of their health, and take it out of the hands of the mainstream media and the, you know, dietary guidelines that have led to this food environment, which is got 6 in 10 adults in the U.S. having chronic disease and 4 in 10 adults having multiple chronic diseases. It's pretty clear that they have failed to do their fucking job, and I think they should be held accountable for that. It's not going to fucking happen in my lifetime, I don't think. At least not until the point where people wake up. And keto has grown dramatically. Like there's a restaurant downtown, Dolce Vita, I think it's called, has an entire keto section. But what I don't want to happen is it to become the new vegan, the new, you know, you'll start seeing keto festivals and keto events. I mean, I'd love it. I'd go to all of that. You know, I'm all for it. But I don't want it to be marginalized in that way. I would like it to just be our way of eating, ultimately, because it is 10 times healthier than the standard American diet. And nothing irks me more than when somebody that's eating a standard American diet comes up and tries and tell me that keto is going to fucking kill me. I mean, really? Have you looked at the statistics here? Have you seen what your eating is doing, and you're going to come criticize keto with barely any knowledge of it? You know, that's what I see going on, you know, like somebody sitting there eating a bag of Cheetos being like, that keto's fucking bad. I heard you get heart disease. You know, really? That's, you know, that's a horrible way to argue your point, you know, because it's one thing is clear. One thing we can all agree on. Even people on the standard American diet know that that's fucking killing them. They know it's bad for you, but they just can't. I just can't give it up. That's what addiction is. You know, addiction's when you know you're doing something that's hurting you and you keep doing it because you can't stop. That's what addiction is. And many people are in that situation with the standard American diet. And even if you raise awareness, that doesn't mean they're going to jump ship and come to your way of eating. They might give it a try, but then the addiction kicks in and they're back on the standard American diet and wondering why they feel like shit. You know? And they're going to say that it didn't work for them. They don't give it a full go, you know? Don't give it a full chance, because that's the flaw of keto, is it just takes too fucking long for most people's patience to get acclimated to it, to get over the food addictions, because you can. It just takes a while. It's like being in fucking diet rehab. You got 8 weeks before you stop craving sugar, before you stop craving bread and carbs. For me, it was the other way around. I stopped craving bread and like that kind of carbs, like pasta and that kind of stuff. I stopped craving that much earlier than I stopped craving sweet and sugar. So that's how that is. Thank you, Duncan, for your contribution to the Broke as Fuck YouTube fund. He wrote, "Have a steak on me, Scott." Well, thank you. Unfortunately, $10.99. I don't think I'll get a good steak for that. Just letting you know, it's literally $18 for a 1 pound ribeye, which sucks. But it's a lot better than going to the hospital. But thank you. I will put that towards my 1 pound ribeye. And now my 1 pound ribeye is going to cost, $6. So I appreciate it. Thanks for looking out for me and helping me make this all worthwhile and shit. All right. Let's see. Keto Sajida. True. Too much focus on vegan bashing than showing us the benefits of eating a carnivore diet. And that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see the carnivores, that are out there speaking out on this. And there are, don't get me wrong, like Amber O'Hearn, Michaela Peterson, they're not out there bashing veganism. They're just telling you the tips. Those are the carnivores I have the most respect for, that are telling me their story, the things that cleared up for them. I'm not even getting Sean Baker doing that. Sean Baker is very critical, but he's not very sharing of his personal experience, like in the nuances, and he's not really experimenting at all. He says he eats 6 pounds of meat a day because he's a bodybuilder, and he thinks he needs that. I would like to see how he performs if he cut it down to an average every day, like 1 ribeye a day or 2. I eat 1 ribeye every other day, and I eat eggs, and the days that I'm not eating steak, because it's expensive as fuck, first of all. And I'm functioning fine in the gym. I've increased my strength gains, and I've increased my stamina. I'm doing some sprint intervals are going up. There's all kinds of performance things going on, and I'm carnivore mostly, ketovore I call it, but that is how it is. CW Stars, is Spheric an important player in the carny community? Thoughts? The reason why I think he's an important player is he has a lot of attention on him, and he is a raw carnivore. And even there's 2 sides to carnivore. There's the raw and there's the cooked. Like Vegetable Police, I follow him too. He's raw carnivore as far as I know, but he occasionally does cooked. But he's more troubleshooting his health in a funny way. I'm entertained by him. But I have to watch because I know he's eating that way. I see him do it right on fucking camera. Like, what happens when you eat a raw squirrel? Do you get gangrene? I don't know. He doesn't share any of the negative stuff. That's my problem with Spheric. I would like him to tell. I mean, have you ever eaten raw fucking meat and had a bad, reaction to it? Have you ever had like a parasite? No, he's not going to share that because he thinks it'll discredit him. And I think that would do the opposite. It would give more credibility if he shared the negatives of it. Did he get a parasite and pull a fucking 6-inch worm out of his ass? I don't know, because he ain't going to tell me. He's too busy focusing on veganism. And my problem is he needs to also turn his attention to the bigger elephant in the room, and that's the standard American diet and our food environment. And while plant-based is looming on the horizon of our food guidelines, the food guidelines only work if people can sustain them. And overwhelmingly, we're showing that they can't. This means they can change the food guidelines to plant-based fucking guidelines all fucking day. They could put a meat tax on shit. In the end, that's all gonna fucking fail because nobody wants to fucking do it. All right? You know, vegan seems hip and trendy with the younger crowd, but that ain't gonna last because that younger crowd's gonna feel like shit. And if you feel like shit and you're craving meat, because you will, you're going to eventually fall off. And the brain's pretty good about letting you know the things to crave to fill in nutritional gaps. And that's why you see a lot of fake vegan meat, is because they're trying to fill that need, that craving they have for something that's meat-like. You know, and that's just biology at work, you know, and I don't think our guidelines are going to really get us there. So, scrolling down. Jody sent me some kiss. Well, thank you for the kiss and shit. Deborah wrote raw squirrel with a throw up emoji. Yeah, I couldn't eat a raw squirrel. I don't even think I could eat a cooked squirrel. Unless I was dying of starvation and in a survival situation and I saw a squirrel running around, I was like, well, it's either that or I don't eat for the next 4 days. That'd probably be the only situation, but I still wouldn't do it raw because I'd be so, I don't know. I'm not on board with the raw thing because I'm worried about foodborne illness. And, you know, now you got people eating fermented meats. I'm like, there's a reason we cooked shit for all of these years, you know, that we needed fire. I have no doubt that we occasionally ate raw shit. Probably right after we killed it. But the raw shit that you're going down to Wegmans to buy or to Walmart, that raw meat, you don't know how long it's been since slaughter. They're not going to fucking tell you. There's even allegations and documentaries out there, at least in Canada, showing that they'll repackage it and put a new date on it. So avoid taking a loss. As long as it doesn't smell, they're fucking going to keep doing that. But that doesn't mean that it hasn't accumulated a fuck ton of bacteria. And a lot of the raw meat I see in the supermarkets are sitting out in a display case to the open air, picking up good and bad bacteria. And if the bad bacteria wins, you're going to have a foodborne illness, and it could even kill you. So that's where I'm kind of debating the raw carnivore thing. But to be fair, I eat my steaks raw in the middle. You know, I sear the outside. There's a layer of cooked, and then there's a layer of raw. The way I cook it, it's like the outside gets heated up, the inside stays preserved, because most of the bacteria is going to be on the outside. And the good bacteria, I think, would be more likely to be on the inside. The more rotting a piece of meat is, the more bad bacteria will grow on it. And if you eat that bad bacteria, it's going to overwhelm your good bacteria, and you're going to have a foodborne illness. And, you know, there's an unethical experiment you could do is just try eating a piece of meat that sat out for 4 days, and I think you'll find it probably won't sit well. Not that I'm endorsing you doing that, but I'm not ready to even fucking try that. Just from watching, you know, I watch a lot of survivalists, and even they know out there where it's a pain in the ass to cook. It'd be great to be raw carnivore in the wilderness, wouldn't you think? But no, we're going to spend fucking all day and 8 hours building fire and harvesting wood so that we have fire to, A, sanitize the water, which you shouldn't drink without, you know, boiling it first, or you could die. That's the thing. You get giardia or one of those illnesses. So I don't think it's necessarily 100% safe to eat raw carnivore. You could run into a problem. But to be fair, what they're showing, what the raw carnivores have been showing are leading me to believe that they're doing so without issue. But I'm not with them all day. I don't know what they're doing when the cameras aren't on. You know, and I'm not about to stake my own personal health on that. And I don't think anybody should do that with my shit either. You know, I always tell people, do your fucking research, do your homework. Don't just base it off of what I'm doing, you know. Figure this shit out. Figure out how the body works. Figure out our history, the way we've always eaten. You know, prior to agriculture, what did we do? because it wasn't until agriculture that we started to introduce these chronic diseases. You know, take a hunter-gatherer tribe in modern times and introduce them to our current diet, and you will never see anybody deteriorate more quickly than that. Yet we're giving kids glyphosate fucking cereal for breakfast and sending them off to school, and then they're going to have a vegan fucking plate at school because that's what our fucking guidelines go. Only their vegan plate's going to have all kid foods. That triggers me too. I open up the fucking kids menu and it's filled with crap. Because that's all kids will eat. You can't give them healthy shit because they're so addicted to the unhealthy shit. So when you go in, you see the same formulaic kids menu in all the fucking restaurants. And they're all bad. All bad. And we think nothing of giving our kids this. You know, we're triggered about the wrong shit. And shit. So, yeah. What else we got? Some calisthenics guy on YouTube from Poland, this is Irfan Khan saying this, was long-term vegan but said going keto, he felt better, less lethargic, more energy. And that's fine. You know, I like people sharing their story, their own personal journey, because quite honestly, that's all they're really qualified for. Spheric, even though he interviews all these vegans and was a vegan himself, I put more stock in his personal experience than him just going out seeking this way of attacking veganism. All of the ex-vegans that are out there should be telling their story, you know, and he is giving them a platform, and there's good for that. But that doesn't translate into walking into a vegan event or a vegan market where, you know, with a dead squirrel gnawing on it in front of people. Any intelligent human being knows if you do that, well, not to say he's not intelligent. He knew what was going to happen. He did it. He wanted it to happen, I think. I mean, what's more clickbaity than getting put in the back of a fucking paddy wagon, you know, hauled off to jail? You know, he's reaching out to the outrage crowd right there. Now, people will not be clicking that to find out about the vegan diet or whatever. People are going to click that because they're worried about being arrested for being offensive. You know, and so it might be a brilliant marketing move on his part, but I just disagree with the overall message there. And there's a lot of, you know, diet advocates here on YouTube that tend to favor that kind of drama approach and that kind of outrage marketing approach. And, you know, I would rather outrage, if I was going to outrage market, everyone knows I'm fucking totally against the food industry at this point. I'm against the pharmaceutical industry. I don't believe that our problems are vegans. I believe our problems are financially driven food and medical industries that are just laughing their ass off while you're walking around with a fucking dead squirrel. Some food guys like, yeah, do we have some soda? Can we bring Spheric? Oh, wait, he doesn't drink. No, but what about all the vegans around? You should. Oh, wait, no, we got one drinking a 64-ounce soda right there while he's watching Spheric eat a. Yeah, really, you know, it's, you know, I don't know. I think we're just kicking ourselves in the balls by doing that, you know. All right, well, let's see here. I'm scrolling down a bit. I'm almost caught up to real time. Deborah, gnawing on raw squirrel in front of anyone would be upsetting, in my opinion. Have a little bit of respect. And that's true. You know, you got to think about how will you be received when you do something like that. And I don't see, other than forcing people to have a conversation with you, but you're forcing a standoff. At that point, they're not going to come up and have an intelligent debate with you because they can't take you seriously if you're gnawing on a fucking dead squirrel in front of you. Something that most people wouldn't do. You know, even raw carnivores, I don't see them out there just, oh, let's go kill us a squirrel. Let's have a squirrel. I think squirrels probably taste like shit. You know, I see them digging around in the trash all day. I don't want to, you know, that's not my thing. But, you know, I don't know. It's like activism out of control. You know, we're losing rationality here, and we're appealing to outrage and censorship marketing, essentially. The press has been doing it forever now, and now it's creeping into our nutrition stuff. You know, and outrage marketing is more divisive. I don't think it works the way people intend it to. But I think that was clearly outrage marketing on Spherich's part. You know, that's just my opinion. Like I said, I totally disagree that he got arrested, though. But that was valuable to see that, to honestly, to bring to our attention that if you do this, you will be arrested. But if you're a vegan and you do this, you probably will not be arrested. That's what I learned from his video. I didn't learn anything about health. There was not a lot of nutrition. He had like one sign about the vitamins that you're deficient in. That was not emphasized throughout the video. I mean, he pointed out to the cops a couple times. But most people just come up and start having a conversation. And, you know, he has his spiel that he's always giving. But it's not, I don't think it reached anybody. Like, I don't think anybody saw that and was like anything but, oh my God, he's got a squirrel. You know, what do you think? There's two sides to that. There's people who are like, what were you thinking going there fucking with a dead squirrel? What did you think would happen? Come on, use some fucking sense. And then there's the side that, okay, so you got a squirrel. So I don't believe your diet works. So I don't care that you're gnawing on a squirrel right now and you probably won't die or didn't die the last time you gnawed on a squirrel. I'm going to eat my vegan fries, motherfucker. You can't eat these French fries. These fries are good. They got fucking cheese on them and shit. Oh, wait. No. They got vegan cheese on them. So, you know, that's kind of where we're at, I think. Favorite lifestyle wrote. Oh, I lost it. There it is. No, I will not stop picking on assholes trying to take away meat. And that's... No one's trying to take away your meat. Only the fringe vegans, the extremists, are trying to take away your meat. Only the activists are trying to take away your meat. You know, most of the vegans that are currently vegan, we're under 5% in that survey. And that's probably a good snapshot. And most of the people in my life, not vegan. I think I know 2 or 3 vegans. And they're not trying to take away my meat. I could sit there and eat fucking meat right in front of them. Just like they could sit there and eat their standard American diet in front of me. No, we get the squeaky wheels are getting oiled here. The people speaking out. And someone said it earlier, you know, is Spheric really a pillar of this carnivore community? And I would say not really. He's the loudest. He's the most vocal. He's the most offensive. You know, he's out there fighting the fight, raising awareness. He's an activist. He's an extreme dieter. Just as much as an evangelical vegan like Freely is. You know, I categorize Spheric in the same realm as Spheric. Or, yeah, Freely and Spheric are in the same ballpark. But, you know, even though the dietary guidelines in Canada, for example, went more plant-based, in fact, I think they're entirely plant-based, it's not going to change things. Unless they start taxing meat, then you should probably be worried. And I know there's vegans lobbying for that, but there's not enough of them that are going to sign on to that. You know, think about it. You're a standard American diet eating senator or, you know, congressman or woman, and they come up and they send you this bill that says, hey, well, we're going to go ahead and outlaw meat today. Do you think the standard American dieter is going to be like, oh, yeah, fuck yeah, I don't want any fucking bacon and burgers. No, they're eating meat too. And it tastes really good packaged with their fucking sugar, carbs, and fucking grain all over it. No one's going to sign that bill. And probably no president will fucking sign off on it unless we somehow get a vegan president. So I'm not worried that these very squeaky, loud vegans are going to get a policy shift. Yes, they're in academia polluting the science, and Harvard, I believe, is completely corrupt in that regard. Yes, they're in different sectors of government lobbying for it, but at the end of the day, given the profit-driven formula, which does include plenty of animal products, you know, it's cheaper to do plant-based, and the government has supporting that, but there's going to be no legislation, I believe, that outlaws meat. You know, I don't think that's a thing. So, you know, and hey, if you want to keep picking on assholes trying to take away your meat, you know, more power to you. I just don't think you're going to really, you know, you're not going to reach a compromise or any kind of, you know, you're just going to butt heads with them. They're not going to fucking listen to you. Anybody I've ever butted heads with on nutrition, and there's been a few, mostly on the standard American diet side, I can tell you that you can see it in their eyes when the brick wall comes up and you're just smacking the brick wall and nothing's getting through. So, all right, let's see here. MGTOW revolution, is it legal to kill a squirrel? And if that was the issue, but if you watch the video, the cops don't charge him with that. They charge him with being offensive. I'm like, is that really a crime? And we don't know who killed the squirrel. There's dead squirrels, we know that. But for all we know, they walked around and looked for roadkill all day, and they're, oh, that looks like a fresh dead squirrel, let's eat that. Or maybe they were out in the woods and they hunted some squirrels. Did they have a license for that? In which case they get fined. They don't go to jail. So, you know, I don't know. There was the question, but the cops seemed disinterested in pursuing that crime. They were definitely interested in pursuing the being offensive side. And that seems to be a common theme going on in the UK right now for multiple things going on. There's people banned from the country for being offensive. So, there was that guy that had the Nazi dog. He fucking got arrested for being offensive. You know, it's a crazy world we're living in, to where you can eat a dead squirrel in front of people and go to jail. You know, and clearly he got this case dismissed, I think. He didn't really go over that very well at the end of the video. I would like to know what the legal status of that is. Did they just, like, catch and release? Is that what that was, to make a point, to harass him? Or did they actually, does he have a court date? You know, I'd like to know that. Because that's important. You know, that's important to know. Crone woman walking, hunting with my 91-year-old father-in-law. He almost threw in the towel, but I told him I would drive him around. He'll shoot, I'll drag. All right. Yeah, hunting's a thing, and I'm all for hunting. I believe hunting is very close to nature. You're not dependent on an impartial, factory-farmed animal living a miserable life. You're out there in nature, and the animal has a fighting chance on whether or not you're going to successfully, as far as it's probably going to evade you most of the time. You know, nature's set up that way. Factory farming and factory agriculture, not so much. Let's see. Fasting fun. Catching up here. Okay, I'm all caught up, it looks like. MGTOW revolution. Meat is more expensive in Canada due to the supply chain. And yeah, that's probably has to do with going across the border and stuff, because I don't see a lot of dairy production, at least not north of the border when I was driving truck up there. So that's probably a true story and shit. So I think I'm all caught up. I need a drink of water real quick. Ah, shit. Wow, we're getting through stuff pretty quick today. All right. I still don't see any... feel free to ask me questions about how it's going with my diet, how it's going with my exercise. I'll talk a little bit about it after I run out of shit to talk about here. Let's see here. But if I scrolled past your question, I'm all caught up now, so it'll pop up right in front of me as we go. Wow, that's... The chat's being weird here. Oh, see, I'm moving shit and shit. There we go. That looks properly caught up. All right. So, CPAP trucker, butter and coffee, yum. I use heavy cream. I'm, like, not about the butter and shit. MGTOW revolution. I already read that one. Got the bed. Oh, here we go. Somebody just popped up a question. Have you ever heard Dave Asprey talk about glyphosate? Actually, no, I haven't. I'd totally be interested in hearing more. it seems like glyphosate's hardly talked about out here. It's very potent toxin in our food environment that needs to get the fuck out. But we're busy eating dead squirrels instead of protesting Bayer and Monsanto. I mean, they're losing lawsuits. There's a nice, court case going on that's costing them a pretty penny, not only in legal fees, but in the settlements that are probably going to ensue. But, I just think that... Oh, sorry. I shouldn't have ate that fucking beef at the beginning of the podcast. I would like to see more people focus on glyphosate. I don't think it gets enough play here in the nutrition advocate community. I, of course, rail out against it regularly, but I don't see a lot of other people focus on it. It's like nobody even is looking into it. And I think anyone who looks into it and does their research on it is going to be completely appalled at the level of contamination we have, at least in the United States and probably in most other countries, and how hard it's going to be to get this shit out of our diet. So, honest as fuck, Scott, how are you? I'm pretty fucking good. I've been very busy. It's be a good time to transition into talking about my gym. I've been doing well with my workouts. Did have a rough workout my first workout after being sick, and I still got a little bit of frogginess from being sick. My strength's going up. Like I put all the chains on the deadlift the other day. There's these chain method that you do where you got the weights on each side and you got the chains and all that. And I was like, why don't we just put all the chains on it? And we did, and I did like 6 reps of that, and my back didn't explode and pieces of my spine didn't shoot out in all directions. So I think that was progress. But yeah, I'm picking shit up, putting shit down, as GMAs just wrote. Emotionally, I'm still steady as fuck. I haven't reintroduced nuts. I think next week I'm going to try and reintroduce nuts and see what happens. For a couple weeks, I'll do it. And if the fit hits the fan, I will probably take nuts out permanently from my diet. And that's the next thing I plan on troubleshooting on my diet. I've got client work building up. I've been cranking out videos, which reminds me, while we're at it, I'm going to switch over here real quick. And for those of you who may not be aware, I do have another channel now, Scott the Photographer. I'll be talking about all my creative endeavors on that. Filmmaking, photography, gear, basically my passion. It's my hobby channel, we'll call it. Adventure video coming up. Half adventure video where I'm talking mainly camera shit, but at the end I throw a nice long thing with a guest star of Christy, if you remember Christy from some of the adventure videos last year. So yeah, that's how I'm doing. I've keeping myself busy with both client work. I picked up some big clients this year so far. And there's some other things in the works that will be very good for this channel. I don't know details yet. I don't know if it's legit yet or not, but there's something big. If it's real and true, there's something I believe could be big for the channel, and also for the movement in general, as keto continues to grow, and raising even more awareness, and just really showing how keto can work in life, overall. So that's where I'm at with there. Let's see here. Let me go back up. Let's see. Jody. I keep mispronouncing your name. After all this time, you think I'd fucking get it right. Hear Dave's interview on high-intensity health. He talks about it in the last few minutes. I'll check it out. I do follow high-intensity health occasionally. A little long-winded sometimes on high-intensity health, so I do sometimes bail. Because one of the things I'm having problems with right now is time management. It's hard to manage all the projects I got going, and this channel, and the new channel, and the side gigs I do. I might be burning the candle at both ends, plus volunteering for the mountain bike thing. That's going to be a big thing. We got a race coming up down near New York City, like just outside of New York City, I think, or just before it. So I'll be doing that, as a coach. I've been going to those practices. So, yeah, I'm fucking pretty well, I don't know. I think I'm pretty well fucking busy as fuck. That's how I am. Honest as fuck. I'm busy as fuck. And it's probably good. It's good to be productive. And also, I just finished filming a short film. I'm almost done with the editing process. I got to do some color grading on it. And I'm going to share the trailer with all of you, probably on Scott the Photographer channel, but maybe even here too. You know, I'll throw the trailer up just so you can see what I've been doing on the side. I'm kind of proud of how it's turning out. So I would be more than happy to bring you all into that experience as we go. Let's see, Irfin, Jody, I just finished a tad over 100 hours, 2 500-cal feeds. It is in it as Coal Snake Diet recommends. Darn, it worked good. 6 pounds in 4 days. Doing that again in a week or two. Irfin, on the fasting front, you know, I didn't pull it up, but I probably should. Let's see, where is it? I forget his name. Fasting Fat Man. Yeah, I think that's who it is. But I'm following this guy now who's on day 90. Hold on. Just tap this camera. There we go. Actually, I'm just going to go full cam on it. Or no, full scene, I mean. All right. So the Fasting Fat Man, I just subscribed to him. He's got 5,000 subscribers, but I am very interested to see how it goes. He's morbidly obese, or he has been. He obviously clearly knows about the 392-day fasting style and the guy that it worked for who was 500 pounds. And he just hit day 90. He's going for 120 now. You know, he keeps extending it whenever he hits his goal because he's doing fine. For those of you on the fasting side of the house, especially at this body fat level, now, you're not going to do 90 days of fasting if you're only carrying 10 or 20 extra pounds. You know, he had like 400 or 500 extra pounds, you know. So there's that. But I do believe, you know, you should definitely check out the Fasting Fat Man if you're into intermittent fasting. And I am still, but I wouldn't do more than maybe 7 days at this point. I don't really have that much body fat left. It's all in the belly area. And as my fatty liver heals, that will go away and shit. So Spive21, I am moderator on high intensity health. That's cool. I've never really done any of the high intensity health live streams. I just don't have time to sit through live streams a bunch. That's why I don't do so many here. Because I know not all of you are going to have 2 hours to hang out with me. Some of you do, but, you know, in the end, the reason I do the podcasts instead of the live streams is, A, you can support the channel that way, and I give you something in return, but B, you can just listen to them whenever it's convenient, and you don't have to watch them or take time out of your day. You can just do it while you're doing other things. So, yeah, there's that. What's going off? Location 515, Douliard just lost some vegans. I don't know who Douliard is. Do you supplement? Okay, Sherry Clem, do you do supplements? If so, what kind? I am not into supplements at all. I believe our diet should be entirely nutritionally based. That's as close to nature as you can get. You know, you don't see hunter-gatherers doing that. And I look to hunter-gatherers as my template. You know, and granted, I'm not doing it. I'm not out there killing my food. That's as close to hunter-gatherer as you can get. Just get a hunting license, go out there and stock a freezer with, you know, whatever you can find. Or fishing license and go out and fish. I haven't really done that. So I'm one step removed from nature, which means my health is one step removed. I do not believe in supplementation. You know, for example, if I want my minerals, if I feel like I'm deficient, I'll go do a wilderness fast and drink out of a fucking lake, and I'm going to get all my electrolytes, you know. And that's just, you know, the water sometimes doesn't taste as great, but, you know, that's where we got our minerals. That's why we need supplements now, is because we've taken all of the shit out of our soil. All of the nutrition is gone from soil. We drink this sanitized water. It says spring water, but I bet you it's been filtered to shit, removing some of the vitamins. You know, some waters are evaporated, essentially removing all mineral content. Hunter-gatherers or people close to nature were, you know, plastic bottle. I know. Somebody's going to say it. Just want to head it off at the pass. But I know I'm not getting my electrolytes here. I have to put them on my food, eat foods with high electrolyte content. I take Epsom salt. That's probably the closest to supplement as I get. I take Epsom salt baths. They're cheap. Takes a half hour of soaking. It's relaxing as fuck. And then I absorb the magnesium the not sharding way. Because if you take it internally, you can end up with a digestive issue. So there's that. So no, I'm definitely not supportive of supplements unless you're got a doctor telling you if you don't supplement this, you got a problem. I haven't had my blood work this year, but last year I was not deficient in anything. And that's from Keto. That was not Carnivore. I got to get into the hospital and schedule my checkup for the year. I'm a little late with that because they canceled my appointment that I did have, and they never rescheduled me for one. So we'll have to see how that goes. Let's see what else we got as I scroll down here. I scrolled too far up. Sorry. Erfrin, Scott, what's your weight routine like, reps and sets? Right now I'm working with a personal trainer for the first half hour. First I go to the fucking gym. I do a roughly 5-minute sprint just to get all the blood flowing. I get on the treadmill, I do that. Then I get off of there, and then it starts my personal training session usually, which he's showing me different exercises, proper form, all the shit I don't know about picking shit up and putting shit down is what he's teaching me. And he's starting to really, you know, work it. He's ready to punish some muscle, it seems. Then after that half hour, I stay for about another hour and 15 minutes. I work, you know, dumbbells, presses. I do all. There's just a variety. I just go around and say, I haven't done this yet, and then I do 3 sets of it. Just shy of failure. Like, I'll know about 1 or 2 reps before I'm gonna hit failure, and I'll just stop there. More often than not, it's in the 7 to 10 rep range. If I go more than 10, I generally up the weight on the next set. Until I can only do, you know, 6 or 7, and then that's probably about the 3rd step when I just hit 6 or 7 reps. And the weight has been going, like I try a higher weight on some exercises every week, the ones that I'm already good with form, and I just add, you know, an extra few pounds. I don't write the shit down, so I can't tell you exactly how much weight is my max. I haven't really done a test of my max, but I can tell you it has made a drastic difference. When I first started doing this, thank you, Sherry, for sharing your wealth with the channel and helping once again. And Sherry has done a lot to contribute to the channel. I just want to say thank you specifically for the amount of support she's shown over the course of the last year and now well into this year. Salt is key. I've learned the hard way. Good to see you, Scott. And thank you once again. But anyways, getting back to what I'm saying about lifting shit up and putting shit down. When I first started doing it, it took me, I was sore for 3, sometimes 4 days. Like, I would not be recovered by the next workout. I'm to the point now where I could work out every other day just because I recover so quickly. This week, today is kind of a recovery day for me because the day before yesterday, I did the workout. That's when I did the chain thing on the deadlifts and stuff like that. Yesterday, I filmed a video for Scott the Photographer. No, I'm not plugging. I'm just telling you what the fuck I did. And I went on a hike. I think I did a 6-mile total hike carrying about 20 pounds of camera gear in the cold. I was miserable about the cold, But, you know, I was prepared. You know, I wore thermals and all that shit. And by the end of the day, because I literally, we left at like fucking noon, I think it was. Yeah, around noon. And we didn't get back to like 8:30 at night. So it was a good solid day of hiking and filming and taking pictures and stuff like that. And I was wrecked, sore. I didn't recover from the workout the previous day because I was out there at it again 2 days in a row. And I thought I'd be wrecked today, and I'm feeling a little soreness, mild, and I know I'll be good by tomorrow, which is when I got to work out again. But I'm to the point now where if I wanted to, and I'm not quite ready to yet, because I want to get all my form down properly, I want to be fully educated on what I'm doing in there before I fucking share the routine that I'm going to probably follow on a regular basis, because I'm still deciding what needs to be part of my routine and what doesn't. I like hitting my arms a lot. I clearly need work in my legs, and my flexibility is probably my weakest point. Like when I'm doing a squat, I can't go all the way down like you're supposed to. Getting better. You know, he said he's seen improvement, but I definitely have flexibility problems and a few weak parts, probably from when I broke my ankle way back in the day, and my body compensated by utilizing different muscles to do certain things. So overall, yes, picking shit up, putting shit down is definitely become a part of my life. I am a member at the gym now too, so once my personal training's done, I will just be working out, and I will start carrying the fucking camera in there and filming it. You know, I don't. Who wants to watch me pick shit up and put shit down? I don't think anybody wants to see that. It's not inspirational. You're not going to watch me working out and be like, look at that six-pack. Oh, my God. I'm going to go to the fucking gym right now. No, that's not going to happen if you watch my workout videos, because I don't think I'm that great at it, you know. It's clearly something I'm not knowledgeable on in terms of building muscle and so on and so forth. So, let's see if I missed anything while I went off on that tangent. I don't know, how long have I been here? We started, what time we started? 3:30. Okay, so we got about a half hour for some more Q&A and bullshitting and shit. Let's see here. Scrolling back up. MGTOW Revolution. Please stop drinking bottled water. Nestle is stealing our water source. Well, I'm drinking Poland Springs, and I've actually been... The reason I pick Poland Springs, because as a 14-year truck driver, I've been to all of the water places. And Poland Springs is literally in the middle of fucking Maine. And I don't know if you've ever been to Maine, but northern Maine is desolate as fuck. And that's where they seem to... I mean, I don't see a big, huge reservoir where they're... If it's spring water, like what it claims, then it's actually getting it from a spring, which means, depending on their filtration process, which I'm not privy to, I might be getting a little more mineral content in this than in Nestle Pure Life or Smart Water. I do prefer Smart Water for some situations, mainly when I'm going out in the wilderness. Their bottles fit really nicely with the filter, and I'm able to get my mineral content from the lake, not necessarily in the water that's in there, because they evaporate it and then condense. So it's essentially sanitized water, completely devoid of minerals and nutrition at that point. Electrolytes in your water, and if you can't get your electrolytes any other way, then yes, put some electrolyte supplements in your water. I fuck up a little bit on the electrolyte things still. Occasionally I get a calf cramp. I have gotten a foot cramp once while I was working out, but I've figured out that you don't drink coffee on the way to pound the fuckmaster. You're just not supposed to do that. You know, my piece of advice: don't drink coffee before you work out, because it will suck your hydration right the hell out of you and shit. But you know, I don't have a clean water source, in my opinion. Because you tell me to stop drinking bottled water, yet I know for a fact where my tap water comes from. I've actually had a kayak in the lake that I've been at. That lake last summer had a green or a blue algae problem. It is also in a heavily cultivated lawn agriculture. Well, not agriculture. It's more like the most beautiful rich people lawns that you can see, which means glyphosate soaking into that lake. Not to mention that we're in a agricultural area where there is some factory farmed crops. Which means the glyphosate's getting into the groundwater and getting into that lake. And I believe my tap water is not really safe for long-term consumption. Occasionally, I can put up with some tap water, but I do not want it to be what I'll take the BPAs in the hopes that Poland Springs isn't as contaminated as my local tap water. Not to say that they're devoid, because they're pretty close to Canada, and I can tell you Canada is spraying like a motherfucker just over that border. I've driven right fucking through it. And, well, not through it, but you know the shit was in the air because it was right next to the highway. They were fucking spraying. So that's my weird thing about drinking water. I'll, take my chances with BPAs over glyphosate any day of the week, honestly. As far as not supporting the food industry, I'm already kind of kicking them in the nuts. I other than water, I'm letting the industry know, if you want to sell something to me, this is what you got to fucking sell to me. All right, because I ain't buying your other shit. And if all of us did that, just pick what you're willing to support. You can't punish the big evil food companies. The big evil food companies are chasing the dollar. And if the dollar is keto, they're going to chase keto. And they're going to provide you plenty of unhealthy keto shit. So look for that. It's coming. I guarantee you. When I saw that there's a keto menu in a local restaurant, I knew that was the first step into a commercialization of the ketogenic diet. Because right now, ketogenic diet is pretty whole foods. But you can bet your ass you're going to start seeing lots of keto desserts, chips, junk food, processed food. You're going to see an explosion in ketogenic processed food. Once the food industry realizes they're losing the ground war in terms of our nutrition, because this diet is working for people, and the word of mouth is just spread like, I can't believe in the time I've been running this channel for the past 4 years how much keto's exploded in popularity. I remember the days when you walked to someone and said, yeah, I'm on keto, and they're like, what the fuck is keto? Now I go into Starbucks, and I think you can get keto coffee now. I think I heard that's a thing. You can go in and say, can I have a keto coffee? And I assume that they just took what I've been doing at Starbucks and pouring the emulsified version of heavy cream into coffee, and that's keto, and maybe some artificial sweetener to go with it for when you need that sugary feeling with your drink. So yeah, I think that's where we're headed, honestly. I think that'll take hold long before plant-based really does, because keto is just exploding. And the reason why keto is doing so well is it's addressing that chronic disease issue. People are getting better from their chronic disease while being keto. If that was working with vegan, then vegan would have took off years ago. But the problem is vegan doesn't differentiate between processed foods. It's just about animals, and that's the problem. And that's the flaw of that approach, and why it never took off as a health diet. It's still an ethical diet, and people try it thinking that they'll be healthier on a vegan diet, because they do pitch that, but it doesn't take long for them to figure out that their cravings, they're going to be hungry all the time, their energy is going to be out of whack. There's a lot of problems that happen with that approach. And that's all people do. They try shit, and whatever works best for them, that's what they roll with. And right now, keto's got that trend going, and I'd like to see it continue to grow, really. So, let's see. Sherry wrote, well, I lost it. All right. Me and my husband go around saying picking shit up and putting shit down. Love the saying. Yeah, I do it to my personal trainer all the time. I'm like, I'm ready to pick shit up and put shit down. Picking shit up, putting shit down. Sometimes I say it while I'm doing it. And I'm like, when I was doing that deadlift, I'm sitting there like, picking shit up, putting shit down. I don't know. It's something motivational about it. It just distracts me from the fact that I'm picking shit up and putting shit down. But I'm enjoying it, honestly. I am enjoying the strength training. I didn't think I would. But I'm noticing changes, slow changes that I approve of in my health, in my ability to get out there. And make no mistake, after hiking yesterday, I'm ready to get out there on the trail. There's going to be more trail videos. I think next week, if the weather's proper, I'm going to strap my 60-pound pack on and hike the 2-mile uphill Tinker Falls hike, just to training. See if I can get all the way there without a massive break like I had to take last time. And if you watch my Tinker Falls is Haunted video, that I showed the entire punishing journey up that hill and just how out of shape I was. And I'm hoping this time when I do it to compare it to that time and see if I improved. And if I improved, then it was worth it. So, all right. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm scrolling back up because I missed like a bunch of stuff. You lose salt when drinking coffee through your urine and, of course, sweating. Yep, that's true. It's a diuretic. I'm more aware of it, but I'm a coffee addict. That's my last addiction as far as nutrition goes. I'm not going to give up my coffee. That's where I draw the line. If I die 10 years earlier because I drank coffee, okay. Okay, I'm not doing it. Not giving it up. Even if I go out into the woods, a survival situation, there's going to be coffee in my bag. In fact, that's probably going to be my meal most of the time because I tend to do it a wilderness fast style, which means I bring enough emergency calories to hike out, and that's it, and I'm water the rest of the time. And I'm really going to follow that formula when I do a multi-day backpacking trip, unless it's a through hike to where I'm just going somewhere where there's resources and I'm camping. It's going to be a wilderness fast. A through hike, I might carry a little bit more. And I want to experiment with how to maintain keto. I already know I can bring cheese curds out and they'll last me a couple days. What are the keto things that I can bring out on the trail? And I want to explore that for those of you who want to engage in some nature therapy. And trust me, nature therapy is a thing. I felt great being out there. It was, even though I wasn't happy with the cold, it was so good to be out in nature again, even if it's just locally. I definitely am addicted to that too. So, how are we doing on time here? All right, we got about 24 minutes to go and shit. Let's see, what else I wanted to mention a few other things while I'm here. So let me, while we let y'all ask some more questions, I'm going to punch over here real quick. I just want to remind you that I am on minds.com. I'm trying to limit my social media shit at this point. And honestly, I'm thinking of deleting Facebook from my phone, not Messenger, because people do contact me that way, customers too, and clients. But overall, as a social media platform, scrolling through posts, I'm not going to delete my Facebook account, but I am going to limit my access to it by taking it off my phone so that I can only look at Facebook or social media. I don't look at Twitter at all anymore. I'm done with Twitter. But, I still mirror my shit there, but I don't engage on Twitter that very often. And Instagram is occasionally I scroll, and I'll probably keep that, but I don't really find myself flicking through that like I used to for Facebook. But I am on social media, and it's going to be the same deal with, as far as I like Minds, because it's not, first of all, I don't, Mark Zuckerberg doesn't have this taint all over it. And, it's a free, open source platform, hosted on the, the various blockchain technology that's out there, making it decentralized in effect. And there's no censorship going on it. You can self-censor. If something offends you and you don't want to see it, you just block it and it's gone and you never see it again. And you're in charge of that. No one's making that decision for you. You might occasionally come across some shit you don't want to see, but I've been posting my shit there, and occasionally I post other people's shit there as well. Sometimes I do random social media shit, but I'm not on there unhealthy amounts. So I just want to let you know that you can follow me over there. It doesn't cost anything. And I haven't done a lot of exclusive content yet, but some short form content is going to end up here. and through scottthetruckdriver.com. So that's that plug there. I already told you about the weekly podcast. So I think I got all my plugging done while I waited for a little more questions and shit. So let's get back to the chat. Yeah. All right. I think I'm falling a little behind. All right, maybe not. 2012, obese now, staying healthy. Did you like Maine? Maine is very beautiful, and I do plan on tackling some section hikes of the Appalachian Trail. And it'd be interesting to do the main part of it. I'd probably do that late in the summer, or maybe midsummer. But that's not my big goal this year. My big goal is still Yosemite, which is going to be a road trip where I drive to California and hike Yosemite Falls. That's my goal for the year. That's what I'm training for. That's why I'm picking shit up and putting shit down. But I do want to, explore there. The next place I really kind of want to go, though, is Nova Scotia. I did go up there when I was a truck driver, and I spent 3 days up there, and it was fucking beautiful. A lot of wilderness, a lot of old architecture on the coast. I'm into all of that, and I'd like to go up there and explore it sometime, where I'm not having to be confined to trucking. It's not like you can just Uber everywhere in places like that. You have to actually be able to drive there or rent a car or something. But I'm just going to drive there. Maybe I'll stop in Maine a little bit on my way. I don't know. There's going to be road trips in my future, and travel plans here and there once I straighten out client work. It seems like every time I try and make plans, I do land a new client, and that pushes my plans out. I'd already planned to hit New Orleans and just do a car camping trip down there and check it out. I've been through there as a trucker, but I didn't get to explore it. And go down there and see what's up and enjoy it and be in the warm for a while. But then I landed clients, so now I'm busy with that. So yeah, I'm trying to find a balance at some point to travel a little more. And Adirondacks is my playground right now, because I can get there in a couple hours. I can do an overnight here and there and not interrupt, my life that much. So there'll be more Adirondack shit this year, definitely. And, maybe I'm going to tackle some of the bigger peaks that are there as part of my training for Yosemite. Because I want to be in the best shape I can be when I hit Yosemite, because that's a pretty intense hike. It's a very beautiful hike, and it's also a deadly hike. And I don't want to die. So I'm gonna make sure I'm in good shape for it. Make sure I have the skills necessary for it, and do some practicing and some overnights and stuff like that. And Adirondacks is a good place because you do get those weather shifts on the tops of the mountains that can test your abilities quite a bit. There's been people that have not made it out of the Adirondacks, so we'll see how that goes. All right, I need some more plastic water and shit. I'm amazed y'all have been sticking this out this long. All right, let's see here. Anyone else to do has fucking weird. Oh, sorry, reading. Trying to find a good comment. Jody, we have a local water refill facility. It says groundwater. Need to research it. And yes, you should totally know your water source. Where did your water source come from? Know where your food comes from as best as you can. I realize it's not practical advice for everyone given our food environment, but if you can figure out where to get local shit and actually know a bit about where your food's coming from and how it gets to your plate, that goes a long way towards preventing bad things from happening. But ultimately, it comes down to elimination diet. Eliminating certain foods and seeing how you feel. Your body's pretty good at letting you know when you fuck up. And I'm finding that the elimination style with the carnivore baseline has really narrowed down the foods that cause me issue. And then it's just a matter of deciding if I want to live with that issue or not. More often than not, I choose to not live with the issues. But I still got some halo top in my life, as you know, evidenced by this zit here. I think, and this other zit. I'm pretty sure that's the food that's doing it, because this didn't happen when I had just carnivore and not halo top. And that's really, I didn't even do tomato sauce this week. And the other issue that may have caused this is I may have been contaminated with vegetable oil on some chicken wings recently, and those are the two suspects for my little breakout going on right now. Let's see what else we got. Crone woman walking. I love these. Nice to chill with you, Scott, and everyone. And I can't promise to do this more than once a month yet because I'm pretty busy. But I do know that I should flip the live stream on a bit more than I do. Maybe I'll up it to twice a month and see how we go from there and shit. Let's see. Chair force. Jamir Morales, chair force. Well, I was in the chair force. Yes, I was. That's a true story. It wasn't always in the chair force. 8 years of it was working on planes, which was not a chair-based, but you still did a lot of sitting during that. But you're right. I didn't pound fuckmaster in the military. They had this thing called the bike. And I got fat. I got fatted out, you know. I hit higher tenure because I was overweight. I think I just hit obese too when they bounced me out of there. It was an honorable discharge. It was just they didn't promote me, and it's up or out. So yeah, there wasn't enough physical activity, but the diet was shit too, and there was lots of alcohol going on, and I think it should have been less about whether or not I was sitting in a chair and more about what I was eating while I was sitting in the chair. And it wasn't. It was eat less, move more, or get out. And that's why it didn't work for me. You know, I tried picking shit up, putting shit down. I tried running. I tried doing all of that. I was starving. I would break, you know, the diet regularly because just how bad the cravings were. I mean, this is still a lot of soda in my life at this point. You know, you're talking some hardcore addiction. So I understand the addiction aspect like nobody's business. And it really took a lot of education and a really drive to change and improve myself. And I wish they would have given me that somehow, like a nutritionist or dietitian, because they sat me down with a dietitian. They fed me the same, eat some fruit and vegetables, and then go to the gym and eat a caloric deficit. That's what they told me. And I did it, and I failed. And I even did Atkins, but Atkins back then didn't emphasize fat. It was all about just eat meats and more meats and meats and meats. And, you know, and that didn't do it. You know, you need fat. Fat is the big thing that you in your diet. That fills in the gap. That's having enough energy coming from fat, which is very energy dense, is really the key to sustainable diet. You know, if you're hungry all the time on your diet, chances are you're not going to stick to that diet. It's just a fact of life. Sooner or later, the hunger always wins. I think that was in a movie or something somewhere. Let's see. Irfan, Scott, I cut right down on coffee and it's helped my mental health. I've been drinking for 49 years and now boiled ginger as my go-to drink. I haven't felt the need to eliminate my coffee. Every time I do a full carnivore baseline diet and I still have coffee on it, you know, coffee has been a constant and I've still been able to achieve the mental health that I want without giving up the coffee. Now, does it mean it doesn't have any negative consequences? I probably have some kind of negative health consequence from the amount of coffee I drink. I drink 1 to 2 pots a day. And I take in a lot of fat that way. That's a big part of my diet. I pretty much essentially eat 1 big meal a day, 1 snack, and a whole bunch of heavy cream, organic, without emulsifiers, mixed into my coffee. And that's if I need a snack, I go out and I make coffee instead of getting the snack, you know, and then I'm good. I don't feel like I need a snack. And that gives me my fat for the day. I've been trying to up my, here's another interesting thing that's been going on. Everyone, as you know, I've been trying to bulk. I've been trying to gain weight. Not just from the trying to build muscle perspective, but as an honest self-experiment. What happens when I try and just intentionally eat keto? First, I can tell you the only way I can do that is if I eat multiple times a day. That's where that snack comes in. That's where the excessive fat comes in. And I'm probably taking in around 3,000 calories a day on keto, of fat, mostly carnivore. And I'm not hungry at all. I did get hunger pangs, interestingly, after my hike. Yesterday, I was ready to eat. I had a good, strong hunger pang after that. In some of my workouts, I've had a slight increase in hunger. Because yesterday I pretty much fasted. I think I had some cheese curds at one point before the hike, or actually, no, that was in the middle of the hike. But by the end of the hike, I was pretty hungry. I was ready to eat. And that's not good, because that means that I was in a deficit. Because when your hormones are working properly, your body's going to be like, hey, you're not eating. We just did that big workout, dickhead. Where's the food? But it's been interesting that I've actually maintained. I was 202 pounds this morning. The highest I've gotten while trying to bulk is 206 pounds. I don't know if I'm exchanging fat for muscle, if I'm just not gaining muscle, or if I'm just like at this new higher set point because of the exercise and so on and so forth. But it's interesting, I have plateaued on the weight gain. And see, here's what I figured happened. I figured I would bulk, and then I would gain like a bunch of fat in the process. I thought I'd be getting fatter and fatter and fatter. My belly measurement has stayed the same, has not changed at all. But my weight has fluctuated between this 202 is the low right now, and 206 is the high. I haven't ever gone beyond 206. And I've been stuffing myself pretty well. I eat calorically dense, definitely. And there's days where I'm sedentary and I eat that way too. And I sweat. I get hot a lot. So I know my metabolism's working properly. It's doing everything it's supposed to do. And it's really interesting that even overeating keto, I'm not regaining a ton of weight. I did gain that initial 5 pounds-ish. And now I'm stuck here. So I plateaued going up. And that's kind of what I wanted to know. I was like, okay, can you bulk? In the traditional bro science sense on a ketogenic diet? And the answer is not really. Your metabolism is just going to ramp up, and it's going to keep you from going further and further up, which is a good thing. Because I think if you balance that with fasting periods, that'd be an interesting balance, because now first you ramp up your metabolism and the fast drives it back down. You go up and down, and maybe you lose a little lean mass, but once you build the muscle, apparently it's easy to rebuild. I've learned that recently. I watched a really good, which I probably should highlight at some point. I forget what channel it was on, but there was a keto bodybuilder, and I've seen this guy before, but he was really laying out how it worked and all of that, and how one of the things about muscle is once you build it, even if you fast and you lose some of it, you can more easily get it back. The other thing he touched on is the older we get, less muscle we can build and shit. So, let's see here. All right. Deborah was saying that she found it hilarious watching me freeze my balls off. Yeah. Sometimes enjoying my pain and perseverance can, I don't know. That's the thing. I was freezing my balls off yesterday, and I felt good about it afterwards. I was like, yes, life is good. I'm warm again. I ate my polluted chicken wings. Everything's good. That's part of it. I think there's a big dopamine spike I get when I do something that's difficult. Like hiking up hills with packs in the cold, stuff like that. That's not necessarily a pleasant moment in life. But afterwards, you get this big reward because it's over. And I don't know. I think that's one of the aspects of backpacking that I enjoy. Because sometimes it outright sucks, carrying a 60-pound pack. it's not fun. You're not sitting there being like, oh yeah, let's feel all this 60 pounds fucking tearing into my fucking shoulders. I'm sore everywhere. I think I'm going to die if I don't drop this pack, but I still got another 2 miles and I have to go. Yeah, that's the other thing about backpacking. There's no like, oh, I'm just going to stop here for the night. No, you have to plan your places to camp so that you have resources. And if you don't hike, you don't sleep right, you don't eat right, you don't drink right. Your whole survival depends on you getting to the place that you need to be. And especially once you're in there, the only way out is to hike, you know, and you're not going to drop your 60-pound pack and hike out. That's just not going to happen. You have to get out. It forces you to finish, essentially. It's either finish or you're going to die in the woods, you know, and then at the end, you have this perseverance, this I survived that. That was hard. That was not a fucking easy thing. And that is a big dopamine spike. When you survive something that some people probably wouldn't even do, you know, and you put yourself through that hardship. And there's things that could go wrong. It's not, you know, the safest activity. But that perseverance at the end, that is why I'm addicted to it, I think. Because as I've said before, the whole addiction hypothesis for me is you always have the same level of dopamine requirement because you've been fucking it up for years, you know. And Lord knows I've done plenty of dopamine-driven behaviors throughout my life. I definitely have an addictive personality. I'm self-aware about it now, and now I'm aware of how the body works with that. And I do believe that in order to get rid of one addiction, you have to foster another. Otherwise, that will lead you into depression, into craving, into, you know, this going back to your addiction. And I can say I'm transitioned out of alcohol. Just a quick update there. Still no desire to drink and haven't drank. So we're good on that front. And, you know, that's kind of where I'm at. You know, but that's not to say me being going out in the woods isn't a risky proposition. Jody just wrote, "Don't die, Scott." I'll try not to, but some of the shit I do is questionable in terms of overall safety. Let's see. Scott, you must put on. This is Deborah. You must put on muscle if you're picking shit up and putting shit down. Well, I don't have a lot of muscle gains going on there, you know. That's all the gains that I got, and you know, a lot of people are like, that ain't shit, you know. I can pick shit up and put shit down, but I'm not gonna be the best pick shit up, put shit down motherfucker. So well, who knows. I don't think I'm not really doing it to get all beefy and bulky and shit. That's not my goal. My goal is just to be able to do the things that I want to do and not feel like I'm going to fucking die. You know, if I can hike that 2-mile mountain straight up without having to have a chair break and without whining constantly, because I do whine. If you watch the video, I'm bitching the whole time. That's how I deal with stress and bad adversity, is I sarcastically bitch about it the whole time. You know, I'd like to get better at it to where I don't do that as much. So that's what I'm doing here. Let's scroll up. I think I missed something. I need more water. Dehydrating and shit. Too much coffee. Oh, let's see. Sherry, Scott, I'll send you some coffee. Hey, I can keep drinking. I drink organic coffee right now. It's something called Three Sisters. It's I forget the name of it. But I've been fine with it. In fact, I prefer it. You know, occasionally when I'm out and I can't get home and I need coffee, I'll drink like Starbucks. Dunkin' Donuts is the last resort for coffee because I think their coffee tastes like shit. Tim Hortons is okay, but for the most part, I try and just stick to my organic coffee. I make it before I go out so that I don't get coffee while I'm out. This is a minimalist thing. So I'll bring a couple of cups of coffee with me whenever I leave, just to have coffee out there so that I don't feel the urge to stop and get coffee. Because almost all the heavy cream, like Starbucks, I can get heavy cream, but it's got carrageenan in it, and I try and avoid that because that sends me to the bowl. And that, I've tested it, carrageenan in my heavy cream. Guess what? You're going to take a shit. No carrageenan, I'm good to go, And it's not a pleasant shit. It's one of those, something exploded and died shits. And I prefer my shits to be a little more orderly than that. And shit. I don't know how I'm talking about my shit. Sorry. Let's see how we're doing on time. All right. It's been about 2 hours, but I'm going to finish up here because we're close to caught up. Thank you for all of you, like Sherry, we don't want you to die. Thank you for not wanting me to die. That's a good way to be in life, that when people don't want you to die, you're doing something right, I think. Although there might be some people out there who do. I can think of a few people that would be happy if I fell off a cliff. But for the most part, I'd like to think that most people don't want me to die. Let's see. JG Lee, very difficult to simulate high altitude without being at high altitude. Any contraptions just don't work. And that's the other interesting thing that I'm going to find, because Yosemite is high altitude. But there are a couple mountains in the Adirondacks that are high enough that where you could get altitude sickness. But there's evidence that a ketogenic person doesn't succumb to it. I've heard some talks on that. So it'll be interesting to see when I get out west where the altitude is climbing high. I lived in Denver, which is a mile high. Just the city is a mile high, not to mention the mountains that you go up to there, which I never really got up to because I was too busy being a standard American diet prick back then. When I had access to the greatest fucking wilderness of all time, the Rocky Mountains, I'd pass that up. And now I like doing shit like that, and I'm nowhere near it. Yeah. It's all about fucking life choices. But I am interested to see how I cope with altitude sickness in terms of if I do mountains. I'm not a big climber. I'm not going to be doing the hard climbs, the ones where you got to have carabiners and ropes and shit. That's not me. I'm not into that, I'm more into the backpacking aspect. Occasionally I like to get to a top of a decent mountain, as long as I'm not going to have to almost dive every 10 minutes to get to the top of the mountain. And some mountains you can't carry a pack up. You have to drop your pack and then go up the mountain. Which I'm not entirely... I don't know. There's something in me. I don't like dropping my pack. What if somebody finds my pack? There's two scenarios there. They take my pack, or they think I'm dead and they call search and rescue, and then I get a $100,000 bill because they had to find me, and all I did was drop my pack to go up the mountain. So I don't know. There's something I get weirded out by that. I think it's going to be fun getting out there and sharing that journey with y'all too. Even though some people don't like my adventure shit, but the only adventure shit on this channel is going to be wilderness fast stuff. All the rest of my trips that don't involve being close to nature and talking about that is going to go on the other channel. So subscribe to that if you haven't already. I only got like 80 motherfuckers on there. I want that channel to grow and shit, because I do like making those videos. And just so you know, if you go to that channel, there will be a video I'm currently going to be uploading today. It'll be posted tomorrow from my hike yesterday, which I talk about full frame cameras versus micro four thirds. So there's a lot of nerdy shit in it, but there's some pictures of the hike. There's a little adventure video at the end, sharing our hike out a little bit. So let's see. Deborah wrote, I love the way you screamed at the wind. Fuck you, wind. Yeah, that's how I deal with things that bother me. So you'll see a lot of that if I do my outdoorsy shit. Scott, superset by try twice a week. It works good. It looks like you're doing well. I beat the shit out of my arms. I do body weight dips, and I can do 4 of those. I weigh 202 or 203 this morning, something like that. And I can do 4 reps of body weight dips, which is good because it's pretty good for, I can remember when I couldn't do 1 body weight dip. I had to have the assist. I can do 0 pull-ups, so I can't pull 203 pounds up off the fucking ground, which is sad, but it is what it is. I'm working on it. You know, my bench, I haven't really tried my max yet, so I'm still making sure. I still get a little wobbly when I'm doing bench press because I'm so out of practice. I want to get my stability locked in and my form good on that stuff. Deadlift, I could probably comfortably deadlift 200. Well, I wouldn't say comfortably, but it's getting up there. You know, I'm pretty sure I hit 200 on the top end with those chains. So yeah, deadlift's good enough. Yeah, I didn't destroy my back. He's taught me a lot of techniques to not fucking kill my back. You know, squats, I'm still got some flexibility problems, so I'm waiting before I put more weight on there. I need to be fully flexible before I really try and find out what that max is. Curls and dumbbell presses, I'm putting 40s up on each side regularly and doing about 8 or 9 reps. So it's not a lot. It's 80 pounds that I'm putting on those. But to be fair, I used to only be able to do 30s especially for hammer curls and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm not a big muscular bound motherfucker. As long as I can carry that pack and I can chop and carry wood, that's my goal. And if I could do that good, then I made it. Dave Lutscher, do you cold brew your coffee? No, I do not. I like hot coffee. In fact, I don't like cold coffee at all. Although, that probably is something I could do for the trail is drink cold coffee, but that's why we learned to make fire. All right. JG Lee, LOL, Scott, don't feel bad about passing up the Rockies. You didn't know then. That's true, I didn't. But that doesn't mean I don't look back at my life and say, look at all these missed opportunities. All because I was being stupid. And it makes you want to tell all the young people nowadays that, look, don't be stupid like I was. Don't keep eating that standard American diet shit. Look what happened to me. My life would have took a whole different track. It would have. If I knew this nutrition shit back in my 20s, oh my God. Oh my God, I would have never missed an opportunity. I would have climbed that far. I would have been like physically wanting to climb it. You want to know what I did in Denver? I played fucking video games. I drank. I ate the worst fucking fast food you could. I had Mountain Dew in my life. Fast food was regular. We didn't cook that much. Now I cook every time, all the time. You know, it's the only way to eat healthy is to cook your own shit. And that's my regret, you know, that I had it in me to learn and to accomplish this, but I didn't do it till 40. You know, the past 4 years that's when I started this journey. And I feel like I missed out on things that I'm passionate about doing now that I could have been passionate about doing then, but I just had no desire, I didn't feel like it. You know, I was caught up in the daily grind, the daily routine, go to work, go home, play some fucking video games, eat some fast food, go to bed, get up, do it again the next day. And that routine, and then getting drunk on the weekends and stuff like that, which I did a lot better with later in my military career. But early in my military career, I was like drinking like a fish. It was miserable. But you know, and all the depression problems and stuff I had back then, I wish I would have known this stuff, to be honest. That's my regret for my past. But that doesn't mean I won't be stopping off at the Rockies at some point, throwing out a hike on my way to Yosemite. Something light, because I don't want to spend my wad before I get to Yosemite. But, you know, I have to go through the Rockies to get there, so maybe that'll happen. I don't know. It's a question of timing, too, because I got a lot going on. All right. I think we're done here. Yeah. Thank you, Melissa, for love both channels. Good stuff. Looking forward to whatever you have coming. Well, thank you for contributing. Thank you. Let me double check the super chats, make sure I got to all of you. So Duncan, thank you. Sherry, a lot of thank yous. Melissa, thank you. You know, you all keep me doing this stuff. You've kept me on track for, you know, keeping the channel going. You've inspired me to start the other channel and to, you know, give the people that don't give a shit about my other endeavors a break from you know, my bullshit, you know, other endeavor. You know, like, if you care about the other things I do, it's going to be on the other channel for the most part, and I'm going to stick to what you guys have pretty much told me you want here, and that's the talking heads, the research, the rants, you know, the health, wellness, lifestyle, minimalism. And I haven't done a minimalism video in a while. I'm aware of that. I did talk about it on my podcast, but I do know I need to do some videos here too to kind of share all of that. So thank you once again. Please like and subscribe if you're new here. And we'll continue this journey. We'll continue sharing this shit. Don't worry, I'm not going to eat any dead squirrels. No squirrels were harmed in the making of this YouTube video. All right? I did not harm any squirrels. I might have harmed a cow indirectly when I had the roast beef. It was a good joke, wasn't it? Okay, maybe not. But still, you know, I didn't, like, harm any creatures or did anything offensive that I'm aware of other than swear. You know, but that's my channel. That's my passion, is trying to raise awareness. But don't just do it because I say do it. Don't change your diet based on anybody. Do your own research and figure out what's causing your problems, the problems that you want to fix. That's how you get through this, by the way. You fix what is wrong with you. What are the issues you have health-wise, and start doing things to address them in your nutrition. And I'm telling you, you'll be surprised at some of the things that clear up if you troubleshoot your diet. And you don't have to make a permanent change. Like, if you go carnivore and you're miserable, but you notice something that gets fixed, then you start bringing back your foods. You don't have to be carnivore over the rest of your life. You don't even have to be keto the rest of your life. If you can bring carbs back and nothing bad happens to you, then do it. I can't do that. I've tried. Trust me. I've thoroughly tested what foods to bring back, and I can tell you I can't, but that doesn't mean everybody's like that. Maybe you healed whatever and you can tolerate a little bit more carbs than I can, or a little bit more of you know, it's a question of personalizing your diet, and the best way to do it is to drop yourself down. Oh, you guys are going crazy with some super chats. Thank you, JG Lee. Thank you, Classic Mercs. Let's see, posting my question below is too long. Okay, I don't know if that means you're in the comments, but I'll try and take a look at that when I'm done. So I'll see y'all in the next video. And remember, every Friday I do a podcast on scottthetruckdriver.com. That's 2 hours each. I am going to put together a discount package for some of the earlier podcasts. And share that out at a discount price going forward. I just need to figure out how I'm going to package that, because I don't know if I can, because I might have to put them all in a zip file or in a full, I don't know. There's technical shit I got to figure out for that. But once I do, I will share it. Have a great fucking weekend. I'll have the video out on Scott the Photographer tomorrow. And have a nice... Oh, I forgot my little fucking outro. I'm not a fucking expert. I'm just a fucking asshole. And have a nice... motherfucking day, and please let my credits work. I work so hard to prep. That's why I could just hit one button and the fucking credits will go. Here we go. All right, ready?